Great. Thanks, Don. So I'm going to go from these four goals and present what we've put together as a kind of overarching strategic framework. And there's a lot here, so and I guarantee you won't be able to read a lot of it, but
that means you'll have to read every line.
I'll try to walk people through it. The first thing that I'll say is that the draft document that I sent out to the task force on Monday includes most of what's on here. So if you have that document, this is trying to do a visual representation where the four goals that Don walked through are up here. The intention is that even if they in and of themselves are not numbers, that they can be and will be, as we'll show in a minute, directly linked to some economic indicators. This next row I'm calling strategic objectives, where we have, we actually started off with probably a mix of goals and high-level strategies. And what we realized was that we wanted this top level to be, what are the outcomes, what are we driving towards, and then what are the key elements to help us get there. And the three bluish boxes, or well, whatever color that is, correspond to what we've been talking about all along, which is a three-part economic development strategy, which includes the innovation ecosystem, an energy strategy, and industry clusters and opportunities. So let me just walk you through these for a moment. And then we can spend a little bit more time on these specifics. So under here and working towards the innovation ecosystem, we have providing a desirable, walkable urban environment for live, work, play, and learning opportunities that supports economic growth, leveraging and connecting the region's educational assets for a world-class business-focused talent delivery system, marketing regional transportation and fiber optic assets to attract business, developing compelling marketing information and an integrated local, regional, state economic development delivery system, and leveraging the diversity of community to create an exciting and supportive environment in which to start and grow business. These items all correspond in some way to talent and workforce, transportation, our sites and infrastructure, policies, and a live, work, play environment. I'll just continue kind of going through, and then we'll take any questions or comments. In the middle, on the energy side, we have maintaining Holyoke's low-cost, renewable energy-based competitive advantage by expanding renewable energy generation and R&D based innovation. Sorry, there's a typo there for the folks like John who can actually read the text. And so the energy strategy then includes elements of generation, operations, which could include smart grid type applications, research and development, as well as manufacturing. And then finally, on the industry side, and to Jack's comment, we have identifying and targeting a portfolio of industry clusters for business startup, expansion, retention, and attraction opportunities. I want to emphasize the mix there, where both entrepreneurial startup activities as well as growing existing and attracting new. And then leveraging the presence of the GHPCC and the 5 University Research Consortium to promote Holyoke in the Pioneer Valley for research and development and market-based opportunities. And down below, digital technologies, that's the cluster Don just walked us through a minute ago, manufacturing, green construction and design, renewable energy, which links directly back over here, creative economy, and urban agriculture is the current list. And so that is, while I apologize that the font's a little small, an effort to, in a graphic, put together what we're trying to accomplish, with the idea being that these areas down below is where we need to do our next work to really provide more detail on true actions. So the part of what I read to you in the blue boxes, I have now put here, which is trying to achieve the goals, and these are some what I was calling higher level strategic objectives. And this is, as someone will have noticed, a bit more process oriented. So I'm going to go somewhat quickly because I read through these before, but please do stop if you think, number one, something's misrepresented or not worded the way it should be, or if, like before, Tim, you saw something that was missing, and I think that was a good observation. So first is, and this is in no particular numerical order, but identifying and targeting a portfolio of industry clusters for business startup and expansion. And these should sound familiar because I read them a minute ago, but leveraging the presence of the Computing Center and the Research Consortium, the low-cost renewable energy competitive advantage. Down here it's a little bit low, but providing a desirable urban environment for live, work, play, and learning opportunities. That has come through, I think, throughout this project, as even though it in of itself might not be the typical or traditional economic development initiative, it is necessary as part of a strong economy for both the Holyoke and the region. Leveraging and connecting the region's educational assets that over, time and time again comes up. All right, thank you. So one of the, I think, interests before was in terms of trying to tie this work to some real metrics. This is a first cut at some economic development indicators and targets. We have data here for both Holyoke and the region. In each case, we're presenting a current assessment or current data point, as well as a target, which we're putting out at 2020. So, actually less than 10 years from now. So the first one is total jobs. I think that's completely consistent with our goal, and we have a metric here for Holyoke, currently at almost 21,000. The region at about 275,000, and this is again in the memo that was sent out to the task force. It will of course be posted online. This whole presentation will be online like they always are. If there's specific comments, I'd be more than happy to take them, but what we attempted to do was come up with some ambitious but realistic targets for improvement. So for example, this would be a little bit less than, well, I guess closer to 3,100 new jobs in Holyoke over that time period. It would actually represent a significantly stronger growth, stronger than the growth in the state. But that may still be too low. Maybe that's not ambitious enough. Unemployment rate, trying to lower that as well. We include population because we think that economic development, as we've been talking about it, is intrinsically linked to residential development possibilities in Holyoke as well. Before I go on, any thoughts or comments about those metrics? So we also have some metrics on education. The first two are in terms of educational achievement. So high school degree or better, and then bachelor's degree or better. Those data metrics represent the community as a whole. So like everyone that's above, say, age 25, what percentage has a high school degree or better, what percentage has a bachelor's degree. The third metric here in education is high school dropout rate. So we also wanted to capture that because that comes up frequently. So again, the current metrics in Holyoke are below not just the state but also the region, looking for improvement across the board. One of the interesting things actually about the dropout rate, which is currently at about 9.5% in Holyoke compared to just under 3% statewide. And Kathy, you may know this, but when you actually look at Holyoke High School, that rate is significantly lower. It's probably, I think I have it written down somewhere, but it's more in the 5 to 6% range, and it's the other schools that are actually sort of building or putting that figure higher. The other thing is that this number has actually come down. It was hovering around 11% for a few years earlier in the past decade. So there's already some improvement being shown on some of these metrics. We also have metrics in terms of poverty rate. Families below the poverty rate, which in Holyoke is currently at 27% compared to in the region 11.3%. So looking again for significant improvement in that, and then median household income, and you can see the numbers that we have put together. You know, the idea is to try to pick some metrics that we will track over time and to hopefully demonstrate improvement. And I'll go to the last set, and then we'll take some comments. And Don, maybe you can talk about this as a longer-term target and what we might do for more near-term reporting. The last set is looking at some key industries, so education and healthcare, information, utilities and energy. I didn't go into as much detail as I originally thought about, but as we're working towards some key target industry clusters to be able to track performance in those industries.